This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Missing visually impaired senior citizen found dead in Manchester. Police yesterday processed the scene where the body believed to be that of missing senior citizen Clifford Chambers was found. Chambers was also visually impaired. His body was discovered in bushes at the Silent Hill near Cristiano shortly after midday on Tuesday. Chambers went missing from home a few weeks ago. Residents had since launched a search party for the senior citizen. Montague defends Chang's shoot-to-kill comments. Former National Security Minister and St. Mary Western Member of Parliament Robert Montague has rejected the criticism of recent shoot-to-kill comments by National Security Minister Dr. Harris Chang. Dr. Chang has been heavily criticized for saying the police must not hesitate to use lethal force when challenged by gunmen. But Mr. Montague, who was speaking in the House of Representatives during Tuesday's debate of the new firearms bill, said police personnel are trained to use lethal force. As such, he said the criticism of Dr. Chang is unfounded.
If a criminal takes up a gun against the police, by the use of force policy, clearly has to use force that's appropriate to dispel that threat. And at the range, there is nobody that goes to a range that I see a hand or a foot on the target. I see a head and a torso. And we spend millions of dollars to train our police officers to hit the head and the torso. So whether he said shoot not to miss or shoot to kill, whatever it is, but we need not to be hypocritical in the execution of what is, because too much protection is being given to the criminals. And if they decide to take up a gun, they must understand the consequences of that action.
Prime Minister promises help to residents affected by flood rains. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has promised that the government will assist the residents who were severely affected by heavy rains associated with Hurricane Ian. Damage assessment is ongoing. Mr. Holness said he is to get a detailed report on the extent of the damage to infrastructure caused by the weather system. He acknowledged that families and the businesses have been dislocated, but said the government will move very quickly to respond.
I'm certain that there have been families and businesses that have been dislocated, and the government will move very quickly to respond. But I want the Jamaican people to bear this in mind, that it is now almost a routine that for the last 4 years around this time, we have had a severe weather event that has caused serious flooding. But what has happened? Has the Jamaican state failed to respond? No. Did the economy shut down? No. In fact, I'm here today handing over trucks after serious rainfall that would have inundated Kingston and other parishes and town capitals in the country. And you are seeing that with many events, whether it is COVID, whether it is the oil shock, whether it is a food price shock, or a weather event. This government gets up back very quickly and keeps the economy going.
Residents of Halls Hall, Clarendon, whose houses were flooded on Monday, have called for urgent attention to drains in the area in order to prevent a recurrence. The residents say they continue to be affected whenever there is heavy rain. One resident said her family is vulnerable as she and her 6 daughters live in a house which is rotting due to the constant flooding.
We need assistance, me not tell no lie. Something can done. If something can done to the drain, something can done to the place around here with the house, or how they can work it out. But me not tell no lie, my condition when me in, me will need of help. My house low, as water start fall, me get wet. Me have 6 daughters in my house, me I tell them, they can give me some building structure, me can help out myself, whether me still go in the water or not. Because my house rotten down, water rotten with it. Every time I rotten, I take a piece of board, water come again, it have rotten.
JPS having trouble restoring power to sections of Louida's Vale. The Jamaica Public Service says it is experiencing challenges in restoring power to sections of Louida's Vale, St. Catherine. A team which was in the area on Monday to replace a pole had to be rescued by the Jamaica Fire Brigade after their vehicle became stuck in flood waters. Audrey Williams, Media and Public Relations Manager at the GPS, said workmen are trying to place the pole at a separate location, but the area is too waterlogged so it cannot be planted. She said the team will have to wait until the area dries somewhat and the electricity will be restored when it is safe to do so. Changes made to extreme provision in new firearms bill. The new firearms bill on Tuesday moved closer to becoming law after the House of Representatives approved the amendments submitted by the Senate. The Senate on Friday approved the Firearms Prohibition Restriction and Regulation Act of 2022 with more than a dozen amendments. During Tuesday's debate, opposition leader Mark Golding welcomed the amendments, stating that they have improved the bill. Among the amendments is the change to a controversial clause in the legislation which called for life imprisonment for illegal possession of a firearm. Mr. Golding said the provision had been too extreme.
Possession of a firearm now, unless they're charged with possession with intent to injure under the clause 15, unless you're charged with that, the penalty that you would be exposed to under what will become section 5, which is, as I said, simple possession, is no longer life imprisonment. It was under the bill as tabled, it was mandatory life imprisonment for possession of a firearm. Illegal possession of a firearm. That has been changed and is now possession which results in a sentence of not less than 15 years, no more than 25. Previously it was mandatory life in prison without ability for parole until 15 years. And of course parole is not a right, it is a discretion given to the parole board. We hope that the amnesty is successful and we hope that the bill has the desired effect of reducing the prevalence of firearms in the commission of crimes and provides a strong and effective, we hope, disincentive to the illegal importation of firearms and the illegal husbanding, possession, locking, as they say in Jamaica, of firearms. So that it remains to be seen, but the government has our support.
Hanover woman who shot boyfriend urged to surrender to police. The Hanover police have launched a manhunt for a woman who reportedly shot her boyfriend during a domestic dispute. The boyfriend, 32-year-old Sido Chambers, died of injuries a week later. The news was informed that on September 15, Mr. Chambers, otherwise called Apache's son, and his girlfriend Annette McKitty, otherwise called Hope, had a dispute at their home in Sandy Bay, Hanover. It's alleged that sometime after 10 p.m., the girlfriend pulled an illegal gun and shot him. Mr. Chambers was later found on the nearby compound of the Sandy Bay Primary School with gunshot wounds. Superintendent Sharon Beeput, head of the Hanover Police, says that the police is encouraging Miss McKitty to surrender to the Lucy Police for questioning. Serial fraudster sentenced to 42 months in prison. Fraudster Rainford Swartz, who has 51 previous convictions, has been sentenced to 42 months for fraud. Senior Parish Judge Lauren Cole Montague handed down the sentence on Tuesday afternoon after her efforts to have the matter transferred to the Home Circuit Court failed. When the matter was called up in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court on Tuesday, the court was told that the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions ruled that the matter should continue in the parish court. Purporting to be an employee of the Jamaica Customs Agency and the Kingston Wharves, Mr. Swartz swindled more than $10 million from multiple complainants between 2019 and 2021 for the purchase of motor vehicles. During the sentencing hearing, his attorney Orville Morgan said his 44-year-old client was not in possession to make restitution. Swartz was subsequently sentenced to 2 years at hard labor for 11 counts of obtaining money by means of false pretense. He is to serve 1 year for larceny by trick. Those two sentences are to run consecutively. Swartz is also to serve 6 months for absconding bail. Additionally, Judge Cole Montague had ordered that he serve 2 years at hard labor to run concurrently with obtaining money by means of false pretense. An order was also made for him to repay 5 of the complainants. Swartz is to return to court on December 14 when other fraud matters will be mentioned. 7 held in Clarendon drug bust charged. The narcotics police have charged 7 people who were arrested last week in connection with a multi-million-dollar drug bust in Clarendon. The 7, including a 54-year-old woman, were arrested on September 21 after the police intercepted a 3-vehicle convoy along the Bustamante Highway. The police seized the 1,200 pounds of compressed ganja with a street value of $100 million in the operation. The 7 were charged on Monday with drug trafficking and a conspiracy after being questioned before their attorneys. They are scheduled to appear in the Maypen Parish Court on Thursday. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.